Hi guys, I'm going to review the latest video of Merle O'Neill. How do a vegan and a meat lover date?
Interestingly, before we started, I always said to myself, I don't think I could ever date a vegan.
There are times when I do judge. I can't lie and just be like, oh yeah, it totally doesn't bother me when you automatically order steak. That, like...
No, she did that.
Hello everybody!
Hello!
Welcome back to my channel. My name is Merle.
I'm Aria.
And we are dating.
Yes, almost 2 years now. Hi, wow.
A whole year.
I tried whistling there. I can't whistle.
Nothing came in.
No.
I get this question all the time from people saying, how do you date?
On one side it says vegan, which is a man-made diet, a religion essentially, and on the other side meat lover, our natural diet. All humans eat meat in nature.
Someone who's not vegan. So like the reason that we made this video in the first place is just to open the larger conversation, not to get approval from anyone else as to like why he's not vegan and I am, or why I'm okay with it or whatever. So basically what I'm saying is, if you're negative in the comments,
Get these fucking hands.
well, I was just gonna say, if you're negative
They're
in the
gonna
comments,
In one video she said that she eats eggs, so she's not even vegan, vegetarian at best.
They're gonna get these fucking hands.
if you're negative in the comments, you're only doing it to yourself. The frustration is only really gonna affect you, but you're also entitled to your opinion. Everyone's entitled to their opinion, but lead with love maybe, huh?
Some opinions.
Well, that's for sure. I mean, people that kill people.
Torture. People that torture people too.
Or animals.
Wow.
And people go vegan for different reasons. Some people it's for health, some people it's for animals, some people it's for the environment. And there are a lot of different omnivores out there, like some people that eat 80% plant-based, or some people that eat 10% plant-based. It's not like a one-size-fits-all answer. It probably has something to do with the fact that when I was growing up, my mom was vegetarian.
None of the reasons make sense, by the way. It's way worse for your health. Veganism kills more animals than any slaughterhouse, and it destroys the environment.
And she used to let me eat meat.
That's it. Yeah,
She didn't like cook meat for me. Like she wouldn't like make chicken for us, but she would buy me cold cuts at the grocery store, even though she'd been vegetarian for like 20 years, just because she wanted me to like come to that decision by myself. But she would always talk to me about the environment, and like we always had a lot of animals growing up. Like she definitely instilled like my love of animals in me at a young age, without being like, you cannot eat meat, because if you eat meat, like you're a bad person.
Parents really shape.
That is basically brainwashing though. Of course it's not normal for a child to grow up like that. Of course you will see the animals differently. A child who grows up in nature sees animals as food and maybe clothing.
And you know what else is really actually makes it easier is he doesn't eat a lot of dairy. Like he doesn't eat cheese.
No,
really.
I'm not a big cheese person.
When we go out to eat, I'm like, you order obviously whatever you want. But when we're here and he's cooking, he always cooks vegan meals. Well, people will always get angry about veganism.
Yeah, you know what? I was thinking about it. My breakfast generally nowadays is just they're oats, so that's vegan too. So basically, my only meal of the day that's not vegan is like usually dinner.
Actually, those are just the government guidelines nowadays as to how the slaves should eat. Of course, they want you to eat oats, which are just carbs and fiber. Carbs or sugar is just nothing. It's more or less the same as drinking soda in the morning.
What you're comfortable with. Like, are you comfortable dating someone who smokes if you don't smoke? Are you comfortable dating someone who goes out a lot, even if you don't go out a lot? Are you comfortable dating someone who jumps out of planes for fun? You know what I mean?
That's a big leap, but yeah.
Like, those are all things you have to solve for yourself.
When you're considering a partner, there are a lot of values to consider, right? Because you want to make sure your values line up. And in many ways, what you eat is especially for a vegan, I would believe so. That is a big ethical value that you believe in. So I can imagine how that's difficult for you and other vegans to see yourself with someone who doesn't match or align with that value. So again, if you're someone that's vegan, I would say that
This is a very big topic, but there's no way that you can ever have a functioning and loving relationship if you choose somebody because of their values, morals, or religion, because that means that you don't actually care about the human as such. You simply choose them because you've been indoctrinated and you need somebody to go along with you in your own misery, essentially.
Doesn't want to be with someone who's a meat eater, then that's completely valid. Interestingly, before we started, I always said to myself, I don't think I could ever date a vegan. We eat vegan often together, especially when I'm here with you or on weekends and whatnot. But there are times where sometimes I'll eat something that involves like some seafood or some meat, and Merle has no problem with that. And so there again, it's case by case. So then you could be with someone who's a lot stricter, that refuse to date someone that's not vegan.
First of all, that's a good point that you made, because I feel like all the time the question is asked to the person that's vegan, like, how could you date someone that's not vegan? But it's actually sometimes the meat eater that's like, no. I feel like there's that stereotype of like the vegan person's the judge.
I think what really makes a big difference here for Merle is that, as I said, she's vegetarian actually, and for them it's way easier to accept somebody who eats animal foods, whereas actual vegans would really have a problem. And for the most part, vegans are the ones who can't get along with anybody else, because when they see somebody eating meat, they crave it so much, and they are thinking to themselves, why am I not allowed to eat it? I must hate these people now. I can't be together with them. I can't look at them eating meat because I want it so much myself. Of course, they can't accept this. They live in denial.
Person, or the one who's like, no, it's too difficult. But that's not always the case, okay?
I'll say this. I always envisioned it being very difficult for me being with someone who didn't eat meat. Not just because of how I fear that might limit what I could consume, but also like because I enjoy sharing, dishes that include, seafood. Like my favorite dish of all time that I love to cook, that I love to eat, is spaghetti alla vongole, which is spaghetti with clams. Merle's made a delicious vegan version of that.
Merle.
Is it Merle? Yeah, the thought of me not being able to cook Merle, some of my favorite dishes, it sucks, but I think it's not like I'm not losing sleep over it, but so there was that kind of that hesitance on my end, which is always something I battled with, and it's c'est la vie.
I think something that makes it work with both of us is that we're both fairly open-minded. We also both really love to cook.
When it comes to vegan food, I have no issue. For me, in food in general, as long as it tastes good, I'm happy.
Actually, Ari makes more exceptions because he cooks plant-based.
That's a pretty dumb mindset of most people nowadays. As long as it tastes good, who cares what it's made out of? Who cares if there's any nutrients in there? Maybe it's fake meat. What does it matter? If it tastes like meat, must be the same because it's all about taste, right? Taste is absolute. It doesn't matter.
Food for me and himself all the time, whereas I'm not cooking meat for him.
That's very true, actually.
So
that's a good point. Oh, I need to cash in on that goodwill.
What the hell is that? A shank?
That's probably all that he does with a vegan as a girlfriend.
This was me cashing in.
Oh,
yeah. I guess it looks like I was looking for a hand job.
Yeah, it did. I think I've introduced you to a lot more.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. The world of roasted veggies is something I never really explored before. Truly, before I started eating more, I hated cauliflower, I hated Brussels sprouts. Now I love roasting those things up.
We watched my Octopus Teacher, and I just wanted to see it. It was Academy Award nominee.
Winner, eventually.
And then winner. And anyway,
she wept. She wept. After we watched my Octopus Teacher, I told Merle, I'm not going to be an octopus anymore. It was very sad to see how smart they were. And to see
absolute propaganda and brainwashing of the masses. Come on.
And there are definitely different conversations that'll come up, like you said, if and when we move in together, if we were to have children, those are different approaches that I think will be conversations that'll shift the relationship. There are times when I do judge. I can't lie and just.
It's interesting that it says dad on this t-shirt. Maybe he wants to be a dad, but with her, would she even want that? Would she even be able to?
Be like, oh yeah, it totally doesn't bother me when you automatically order steak.
Oh yeah.
Or you automatically order the meat option
she wants it.
as opposed to a perfectly protein equivalent plant-based option. That
she did that.
That's definitely in there sometimes. It's not every meal, because if it was every meal, I wouldn't be able to do it. And it's not just you. I mean, it's just people in general. I think it's just as a society and as a culture, we are very meat first. So it's
it's in our nature.
To see people defer to the meat option every time right away without considering or thinking about the plant-based option is frustrating for anyone
Why would they think about it? They eat what they crave. It's the same as asking a wolf to choose a plant-based option if you put a steak in front of him. It makes no sense.
And eventually, hopefully will come a day where, we go out there.
Lab-grown meat will be a real thing.
But I was also going to say...
A farm? Hunting?
Hunt our own meat.
Me?
Well...
I'm not hunting.
Wow.
I'm not hunting, but I have more respect for hunters than factory farming. Hunting for meat.
Hunting your own.
Fake meat, lab-grown meat, and so on. That's all on the agenda right now.
Food.
Yeah, which you've never done, right?
That you know of.
That's why I just asked.
I have not.
It's sometimes it bothers me, sometimes it doesn't bother me. Does it bother me enough to end a perfectly wonderful relationship? No. That's just me, and that's my preference. Does it bother him that he can't cook me some of his favorite meals? Probably, but does it bother him?
If she really goes vegan and her nerves get damaged more and more over the years, it will be unbearable for him to be together with her, and she will also not be able to see the meat anymore because of how much she will crave it.
Enough to end a wonderful relationship? No. This is where we're at today. This is how it's been, it's how it's working, and it's working. And with that, thank you guys so much for watching.
Okay, it seems to be working for them in some way, but at the same time I also feel like they are both in denial in their own ways. As always, plants don't have over 50 nutrients. And even though this wasn't what I eat in the video, really what it does to the body is that it malnourishes you in so many different ways that this is why most vegans can't even really be around meat eaters. This is why when you check out some posts online, you will see that a lot of them just block everybody they know online, end their relationships with their friends as if they were their friends, if it was based on what they eat. But it becomes a religion in your head. So you are so obsessed with it, plus at the same time you're starving, that you gotta end it because you have to disconnect from the dead flesh because of how much you want it yourself. So you can't have anybody around you talking about it. You can never see anybody eating it. You have to start hating everybody who eats meat, while at the same time you start eating more and more fake meat. Just this absolute denial. But my point is that this is why the vegans, because of the malnutrition, always have the issues with the so-called meat eaters, people eating their natural diet, because you will basically never hear anybody who eats meat and enough fat, whose nerves are intact, say that they can't be around a vegan or they can't tolerate a vegan, because why would they not? People like me, we have no issues with vegans as such. The problem is veganism because it's making everybody sick, but I could be best friends with a vegan. I accept everybody. It doesn't matter to me what somebody eats, whereas to the vegans, it matters so incredibly much what everybody else eats. And that's the deep issue that every vegan should look into. Thanks for watching.